Hello and welcome back to the A4 Skyhawk. I've decided that I want to try doing this bombing practice in VR, so we're going to go ahead and try to do that today. So as we did before, we're going to find our radar switch over here, get it set to air to ground. We're going to get our bombing computer set up for computer. We are going to get our fuses set. We are going to get all of our bombs set up to run in pairs by set. Unfortunately, my VR is not, my system is not good enough to set my VR resolution high enough that I can actually read all of this stuff, so I'm just kind of trying to do it by memory. But we're going to go ahead and get as much of this set up as I can. We're going to get that set to 6, and we're going to set the bomb interval for this a little higher. I'm actually just going to set it to, I think that's 170. It's kind of hard to tell. Get our pitch trim set up. Actually, I'm going to reset myself a little closer so I can actually read stuff. And get our flap set to half. And then we will get up into the air and give this a try. Let me just double check and make sure that recording is going as expected, because, I can't really see my recording. And away we go. Full throttle. I'm going to see if maybe trying to do this in VR gives me a little bit better ability to get on target with the depth perception and just being able to freely look around. Obviously, it will help with lining up our bombing profiles there. I've turned the volume down quite a bit to make sure that the sound of the aircraft doesn't overpower my voice, so hopefully this will be one of the better videos as far as you guys actually being able to hear what I'm saying. Alright, and as before, we're going to fast forward through some of this stuff because we need to get around over to that direction. Okay, so, and then we got to make sure our safety switch is on. Alright, so master arms on, fuses are on, weapons are selected, nav computer, air-to-ground radar is set. And so yeah, we're going to try to roll in on these guys and do a decent job of releasing our bombs and pulling up. My understanding, or at least my guess as to how this works, I haven't done any research on it, is that normally you would set the gun sight or the bomb sight or whatever it is you want to call it to a certain offset to account for the kind of bomb that you're dropping. But when you're using the radar, it doesn't really work. You leave it at 0, and then you pull up to drop your bombs. So my assumption is that we lock onto the target here, and then given the kind of bomb that we have selected, it drops based off of what kind of bomb that we have, and then whatever mil you would have normally set it at is where it would actually looks like we got pretty close, but I hit the pause button instead of the F1 button, which is to get back up here button. So sorry about that. Trying to make sure, it's very difficult to make all of this work in VR. Just wanted to make sure we actually hit something, but unfortunately I pressed the pause button instead of the view change button. So sorry about that. We'll try again. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and do some time compression here. So we can come back around and try, so we can come back around and try again. And, okay, so we'll pull up. Start diving in, pull back on the throttle a little bit. Ourselves lined up. I do feel like I have a slightly easier time lining everything up this way. Pull up and try to keep the line on there so we don't have any weird stuff. I will be more careful about selecting the correct button this time. We'll hopefully. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Let's get these pylons reset. We'll start trying to drop single bombs now, because we can't really drop pairs. Swing ourselves around. I feel like the shallow profile that we're using is making it much harder to actually get a hit, so we're actually going to pull around this way and try to do something a little bit more steep. Alright, there's a guy right on the thing there. Fortunately, any kind of rolling, I think, really screws with it. Well, at least we hit it that time. I mean, we may have hit it the other times. I keep switching views to see if we actually got anything. So, we'll time compress around and try again. Up, 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 up. Alright. Pull around this way, try to find a target as we go in. Okay, we got a target right here. Pull up a little bit more. Try to actually look this way instead of... We're getting kind of close, but I don't know. I'm having a really hard time getting the pipper on the actual targets. And then I'm also just having a hard time seeing targets from a distance in the VR there, but I can see there's one right there, so we'll pull in, try this again. Okay. Ideally, by now the weapons come off the rail. Okay, well we got a decent hit on that one. Not too shabby. It'd be nice if we had a weapon counter. So the only thing that frustrates me about this particular aircraft is that you have to know how many bombs you have to remember how many you've released. And the only other way to know is to that's fine. So let's pull ourselves back down like this, and then as we come in, we'll see about trying to snag our... It's definitely much easier for situational awareness to do this in VR, because the depth perception helps a little bit for me. I don't know if that makes much of a difference for too many other people, but it does for me. I can't... Okay, so there's some offset right there. Allowing this thing to pull up here. I wish there was some kind of indication when the bomb releases. I wonder if... Oh, maybe it's the radar. Maybe the radar is supposed to let me know. I wonder if it's the radar. Maybe I missed that part. I've watched tutorials on this several times, but these older things have a lot more... I don't want to say it's more complicated in the process. It's not necessarily... How am I supposed to say this? The newer systems are more complicated themselves, but they're easier to use because the automation does most of the work for you. These older systems are simpler as far as the way the systems work, but they are more complex in the pilot workload. So I'm trying to learn. Okay, do we have any targets available here? Looks like one here. I'm assuming that once the radar starts doing other things, it's dropped the bomb. But I missed, so yeah. All right, we're gonna switch back to the inner two pylons here and go back to doing pairs, just so we can expend that ordnance. But the problem that I'm gonna have now is that I'm not sure okay, I think there's a pair right there on that end of so we're relatively high up. We're just going to go ahead and pull in now. Try not to adjust my... Assuming that those are out now. Right this time. Well, we hit something. We're a little too far to the right, though. Alright, so that's done. That should be the rest of that ordnance. Let's, looks like we have maybe one more. So we'll try one more time. Let's see about... Trying to hit that last one that we missed over there. Looks like there's one more on the runway. We're going to swing back around to the left because I have put myself out of position. Okay, we have a pretty decent altitude here. Try to get ourselves put right there on the guy. Hard time getting that on. Crap, I screwed that up. Oh. I'm not getting a... Okay. I'm not sure what happened there. Okay, fine. Let's go ahead and try to do some landing here. Where's our airfield? Right there. Pull back on that throttle. Get our pitch trim going. Radar. Oh, I wonder if my radar altimeter matters. I don't think it does. Not as far as the... Not as far as trying to get... APC might help. Okay. Are we on? We are not. And I don't remember what the... I think 070 and then 260 or something like that. We're kind of high. I need to get my auto throttle going, and away we go. Get ready for the landing gear and flaps. It's supposed to be 225, but I generally wait, or 225. I generally try to wait for the 120 mark because it's just an easy visual marker to grab. So we'll bring the gear up, we'll bring the flaps up. That'll help reduce our descent rate there. The throttle should start to compensate. I'm going to bring it around a little sharper because I don't want to get too far from the airfield. I have a bad habit of doing that. Okay. Ended up really screwing up the turn there, but hopefully we can get some altitude back. Haven't practiced landing in here for quite a while, so hopefully we can make this work. Try to get my descent rate stabilized there so we're not falling anymore. Get back in the habit of using the stick to control things rather than the pitch trim because it's not fine-tuned enough. And the throttle doesn't respond quite as fast as the F-18 does. Okay. I'm still not quite stabilized. I think we turned too far into the runway there. So unfortunately, that's going to put us a little too close to the runway. Let's go ahead and start our turn. I'm going to do a slightly sharper turn than you normally would because we ended up a little closer to the runway than I would like. And then, yeah. Oh, we need to let that descent. We need to let the descent rate come down quite a bit. When in doubt, put the rudder in. Speed brake. I didn't do that very well, but whatever. It is what it is. Alright, well, that wasn't a great landing. Lots of things went wrong there. Mostly, I mean, all completely my fault. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to click the like button, subscribe to help us reach 10,000 subscribers. Join as a member for early access to videos, among other perks, or you can just leave YouTube's version of a tip with the thanks button. So again, thank you very much for watching. Be sure to come back for a future or we can do that. And I'll see you then.